With due respect to samurai and knights, sometimes it seems as if the Total War games were made for Rome. The setting has everything the series has ever required. Loads of power-hungry empires fighting with each other, close tactical battles from a time before gunpowder, and a sure sense that a small gain or a small setback for one faction could drastically alter the balance of power. Rome 2 is Creative Assembly's second go at this setting, and it benefits greatly from the lessons the team has learned in the 9 years since the first Rome was released. On the other hand, it's also a prime example of all the lessons it's failed to learn. One of the best things about Rome 2 is its sense of place. Creative has delivered a game full of the flavor of the ancient world. From the satrapies of the Persian king in the east to the Celtic villages in the west, this game is a completely engaging, if not entirely historically accurate, simulation of the Roman world prior to the establishment of the empire. While war is literally the name of the game here, Rome 2 lets you play how you want. The interface definitely helps orient you towards a lot of critical information, but it doesn't always do a good job of helping you understand the context of your decisions. You might, for instance, be asked if you want a Gallic bard to replace someone in a general's retinue, but the game doesn't tell you who's already in that general's retinue. You have to go searching for that information by yourself. Rome 2 does this kind of stuff a lot. With hundreds and hundreds of unique unit types and loads of variety in the settings, the battles in Rome 2 are the best the series has delivered so far. In the space of a single turn, you could find yourself commanding any number of battle types. Rushing across a grassy plain to assault a barbarian fort in a foggy morning, commanding a fleet of ornate triremes at sea, watching as your carefully laid ambush sends enemy elephants fleeing back through their own lines. It's all spectacular to watch and to play, and the camera lets you get in close enough to see the faces of the soldiers. It isn't exactly playable from this perspective, but it adds so much intensity to the battles and in replays. Rome 2 has substance to match its style, and that really makes me feel like a ruler. As the leader of one of the 8 playable factions, you'll build temples to quell the populace, research new agrarian technologies to help your cities grow, negotiate alliances with your neighbors, and field armies to protect your interests and project your power around the map. It gives a strong and rewarding sense that what you're doing actually matters. Every turn in the campaign is full of meaningful decisions about priorities and timing. There are loads of interrelated systems in Rome 2, which means your whole empire has to balance on the edge of a knife. As you grow in power, your problems also grow, creating a great sense of challenge at every stage of the campaign. To help ease this burden, Rome 2 includes a provincial administration system, whereby you manage multiple regions as a single unit. It's a great way to allow for some sense of local specialization, while also freeing you up to think about bigger issues. The developers have helped to streamline the empire building process without necessarily sacrificing its depth. Likewise, the battlefield is full of amazing tactical action. The Total War series has always excelled at the basic geometry of war, where the careful arrangement of forces and a fair bit of luck separate the Caesars from the Antonies. Real line-of-sight vision means hiding and scouting are a necessary and practical part of your battle plans, while combining land and sea forces in a single tactical setting means you can actually use your navies to support your armies, which boosts the sense of scale tremendously. The new province system and ambush stances mean that there are far fewer sieges and more open field and town battles, which adds much more variety and maybe you want to use the auto-resolve button less. And while the AI is no Julius Caesar, to put it mildly, it generally provides enough tactical challenge to keep you on your toes. For a real battle of which, you have to go online against a human opponent, which Rome 2 ably does. Fans of the Total War series won't be surprised to hear that, as fantastic as the game is, Rome 2's complexity is also one of its biggest problems. It's not always apparent how one element impacts another, which means we're sometimes left wondering whether the attention we're paying to, say, Senate approval or a general's family allegiance actually matters. Even when you're sure why something is important, like managing public order, the game tends to obscure the relevant information you need. With public order, for instance, the overlays and lists only tell you whether or not public order is high or low, not whether it's improving or declining, which is actually more important to know. That complexity also means that even with the provincial management and army recruitment systems, the burden of management becomes more and more annoying as your empire grows. Even the AI seems to struggle with it, and the processing time between turns can seem like an eternity if your PC isn't absolutely top-notch. Rome 2's intricate strategy campaign and intense tactical battles are a great match for its rich historical setting. Having one game that brings together legions and war elephants and slave rebellions and political assassinations means that fans of ancient history, grand strategy, and battlefield tactics can get everything they want in a single, glorious package. It fixes few of the organizational and AI problems that have traditionally kept Total War games from enjoying the greater success they feel like they should have, and that's a shame. But its amazing scope and depth make those obstructions feel completely tolerable. For everything Total War, keep it locked to IGN.